All right, fitting for the tail tidy. Let's get the seats off. There's the 4 luggage straps on the side. Just need to take them off. Okay, over here. So we've got these 5 fixings that we've taken out. This one, this one, this one, this one, this one, and the 4 luggage sections. Remove that key for a sec, and take these side panels off.
So here's 3 screws to hold that on. There's a popper on that, and that comes off.
Put them in there. I'm going to do the same the other side, the other panel. Right, so up underneath here we've got that fitting, this one, and this one. And we do the same on the other side. On here now, you've got these little plastic rivets just here. Okay, so what we do is you'll have to get the behind there with a flathead screwdriver, and you can just push the centre part of the rivet through like that, and then you can remove it. So you just push that section through with the screwdriver from the other side, and then it will come out. And the same on the other side. That one's a bit easy, you can get that from here. Oh, he says easier. There we go, that's that one. And then if you look around the other side, that one's just there and comes out the same way. Okay, so when you take this off from the back here and slide it to the back, because there's a hook underneath here that hooks onto, so don't just try and pull that straight up. That hook slips, this little hook here, little hoop goes over this hook. So that gets us into the back. All of our lighting connections around this side, so we'll get to those in a second. If we start by removing the parts for the back here, that's probably the easiest way. So, well, actually, no. If we, yeah, let's disconnect this first of all, because then it saves us a thing later on. So on this clip here, you just push this bottom section in. There's a wider tab at the bottom there. Just put that in, and that flicks up. And then we just need to disconnect all of these connectors. That one, right. So that's us all disconnected there. Right. Next stage is we need to release this back section. So we will, it's slightly easier if you take this off first of all. So we'll just loosen this light. Pot as well. Okay, that's going to make the next stage just a little bit easier with that loosened off. So then we need, under here we've got the 4 bolts. Got that one. This is why we want to try and retain as much of this as possible, because all this part's very well made and it's nice and strong. Just removing all of this is not the way to get around this issue and have something that's nice and robust for trail use. It's fine. You're just on the road. People have come up with some options that they'll work, but in my eye, they're not. In my mind, they're not as good as an option really, because it's not as robust. And one more. Oh. becomes a lot looser, like that. Cables we've already disconnected come out, and we've got a nice section here that we can work on. If you leave this light in place and don't unscrew it, it all ends up getting caught up in here. So it's just easier just to undo it, like I said, off of these two nuts, and gives us a little bit more access in there. And it's got to come off anyway for doing the next stage. So yeah, that's all good. So we'll pop them in there. Got that. Got that. Excellent. Right. So we'll strip this down a little bit further to get rid of some of these other bits off of here. What we've got in here is we've got a when you look in here, there's a zip tie holding this on. So the only thing I've forgotten to include so far is the in the little kit is a replacement zip tie, but we just cut that, careful we don't get the cable underneath, and then they can come out of there, and then we can remove the rear light. Then we need to take the next part off, which is these bits. So what we need for those is an Allen key. And these are for the main fixings to go back underneath. So that fitting and these two fittings, they're not used anymore. There's new fittings in the pack for that. I'll show you that in a minute. So we can put those all to one side because they're no longer required. So those three fixings, they're no longer required. We don't use those anymore. That releases the metal plate at the bottom. And then that leaves us access to everything else here at the back. So we can now undo these. That one. Put those. And again, that's not something that we're going to be fitting back on the bike anymore. So we undo this one here. Lots of things you no longer need. Right, that one there, and then that gets us out of there. Then we're into some more zip ties. It doesn't matter quite so much about these ones because they're not utilised, just be careful of the wires underneath. That one, and we're not using any of this this section anymore, so that's fine. We'll take this bit off. Again, we're not using any of these anymore, so they can go in our pile of unused bolts and parts. That can come off of there. These things are just sort of hooked down the back there, so that can come off, and they can all come through. You just better off taking each cable through one at a time, so you don't like pull anything. Take the two small ones first of all, and take the larger one. Okay, so now we're off to just this section on its own. I'll come back to that in a minute. We need to scavenge a couple of parts from here. Obviously you've got your indicators if you're retaining those. Take that zip tie off, and then we're into the indicators. The indicators you remove, you pull this little tabs back here and here, and pull this plastic section out. So we've got a little plastic section out, and then that pushes through like that. The little thing, there it is. So we need that. Let's get rid of a few bits of these. Taking care as well. Okay, so we've got that is our indicator this side. That's our indicator this side. They've got different coloured connections on them, and there's different coloured connections on the bike to suit. So the black one goes with the black one, the grey one goes with the grey one, and you know which way round they are. But you know, for your reference, the black one is the right-hand side of the bike. So we take this off the same way. This is our other indicator, and then we need the light. We don't have to take it off, but let's just take it off, and it's done then. So we need another thing. Yeah. Okay, we don't need either of those washers anymore, don't need the nuts, don't need that, don't need the spacers. We do need this at the moment. I've found somewhere they're taking an age to get them though, for replacement ones of these. The first 50 kits that have gone out and are going out, they're not having this. They'll be supplied with a couple of crimps. I'll show you in a minute. The next batch of them will have this, and that will be pre-wired onto our number plate light. But I just don't have any at the moment. I couldn't get any in time. I've tried. So yeah, we need that. So let's clear a few things away that we don't need and get the things that we do. Okay, so let's start and go back to this bit. We don't need that. Let's start and go back to this bit. So the easiest way to do this is, I personally think, is just to remove this for the sake of 2 bolts. So those 2 bolts there, and just remove that section there. Now this gets us onto this bit. I'll set into the video a bit how you cut this, but effectively what you do is you go from that, and in the words of Blue Peter, as I've made one earlier, and this is where we cut down. So you'll be able to see on the video where we cut along here, retaining the part for the zip tie to go through, along here, cut through there, and then we open out that section and grind that back along there, down and around the other side, as you can see there, round there, and that hole's cut through for the cables. So for the cut, we follow this white line that I've marked on here, go along with the handle, and then it kinks, goes round. There's the cable guide here with the zip tie holder, so we pass underneath there, straight across on the other side, and have it exactly the same on the other side as well. On this bit in the middle, this bit just has to be tapered back in, but I'll show you that in a sec. Okay, so we've cut along this line. The easiest way is just to cut straight across that section, and then I'll show you, we'll sand these bits round. Now we've sanded this off, and we're just going to now take this bit out here. Okay, and so once you've done that, we take this bit out as well, like I said on there, and you open that out, and lets the cable sit in nicer, and then that's the finished cut across. Just a bit with a white chalk pen, that wouldn't normally be there with that, but yeah, across there, round, and then level with this, this section of the handle, and it fits underneath nicely. A bit dirt there, I need to clean that. I've just got to clean this bit up. But yeah. So yeah, if you want to cut your one, then do that. I've actually got some stock now of the bits. They've started to come through, so we will have those as an option shortly for the kits, if you want to keep your one intact. But for this purpose on this bike, this one is no longer required. That can go with all the other parts we don't need, and now we're starting again on this. So pop the bit back on that we've just taken off.
These two.
Okay, so we have in your kit, you'll have one of these. Tail tidies. This will still be zip tied up. That needs to be taken out of there. Okay. And you'll also have a fit kit of parts in this little envelope. So in there you'll have 2 of these indicator spacers. You'll have a little light stay, and then we'll have some fixings. There's one on the floor already. So we've got 2 M6 Allen key dome head screws with 2 normal washers, 2 spring washers, an M5 dome with a normal washer and a spring washer as well. So we shall pop those there. We'll need those in a minute. And we can start putting some stuff back together again, I guess. Okay, so indicators with these sections. We pop that through there, like so. Indicator into the hill. So you'll notice there's a little gap here. This is what this indicator spacer fits in there for. That's what these are supplied. So we pop that on. We hook that in. It's best to get the back end of that in first. The front end, sorry, the smaller end in first, and actually push that into the slot. And then the others, they are a little bit tricky.
One in.
There's one, there's the other. Right, a little bit tricky, but you get there in the end. And it gives a nice tight fit then. So then, same thing here, use the same fixing back on. Goes back on through the hole. And then just put it back into place, into the little slot on either side. There and there. And then we replicate that on the other side. Okay, so we've got both indicators in now. And we've got the number plate light. What I've just realised actually is this coming through here. This kit so far haven't had anything else. This is what you've been getting, but from now on we'll have this thing here as well. So we can just slot this over the top. I should put it that way. That over the top, through there, and that can go in. Then we're sending everything up through the hole here with the grommet in it. Now this bracket here goes in to here. Let's push that into place. So round on the other side of here to hold everything into place. We've got the number plate, the light support. So this is our light support here, and that light support goes on. It goes this way round. We have so we want our M6.
Oh, so it's part of the kit. Line up, and there. And the other one.
That loose. And then this one up the top here, we have our M5 one that's supplied with the kit. And that goes into here. Spin them up. You should have that. Comes up that way. The cable's up forward that way. We have that coming through, and this coming through here. Right, so we're back onto the stuff that we had before here now. So again, we've got a zip tie that will now be in the kits. Like I say, the very first ones didn't have the zip tie in. I forgot about that. So we'll have that, and we poke that through like that. So that's ready for our cables. Then we send the cables. What's probably best to send is the cables this way, like that. So if we send this in, and then down like that, and then this one down as well like that, and then this one on top of that one. So they're all in there, so we just pop that zip tie over for the moment. Right, we're not going to tighten that up fully just yet. So we're ready with that, and we can then send that back up onto the bike. I think we're good to go with that. Yeah. Just offer that up for a sec. Yeah, we're good. So the same fixings that we had before for these get used again. The main fixings that hold it up, because we haven't changed anything there. So we hold all of that up together, and then these 4 fixings go in underneath. At this point you start to feel like you're actually getting somewhere, because it's all starting to go back together. So whatever way you do this is going to be a little bit time consuming to put this this thing back together. So we'll just tighten those up. Make sure everything's sat up nicely as it's going together. That look about straight? Yes, look about in line. Cool. You can talk. They don't think there's someone, the camera's just floating around. There is a cameraman.
It looks very good.
Well, a cameraman, there is a phone holder. Okay, cool. So we're good there. So you can see these ones here, they sit in there nicely and get tucked away. So what we'll do is we'll just, you know, they're held there. Just check them underneath, make sure they're not being pulled or anything. I think they're nice there. Okay. And so we will give them a little bit of slack there, and then we'll nip that up, because that's not coming out again. So be carefully with the knife, take the head off that. Nice, and then we can send these bits down and in. Right, so now we're at this bit. We're at the bit that we need to use part of the original loom section. So obviously we need to bring these in to there, and we need to get down from there onto here. So we're going to need part of this, unfortunately. So we'll snip that off, and this will go with the parts that we don't need anymore. and it can always be connected back up again if you, if you needed to. And just remove a bit of this sheathing on that. Up. So in your kit you'll also have, which I forgot to get out ready, so we've got to utilise this section. In the kit there'll be a couple of these, they're heat shrinkable and have got adhesive in them as well. So we want, the colours we want is black to black and red to blue in here. So if we just crimp these on quickly. So in the future the kits won't have this to do on them, it'll all be pre-done for you, so you just plug it in, but these first ones aren't, so we're going to have to deal with that. So we want that around there, so we want black in on the black one. We want red on the blue one. Come on, you little bugger. Right. There we go. Oh, and that one. And that one. So, heat gun or whatever. Just shrink these down.
You'll see on these particular ones the adhesive starts coming out on the end when they go, so.
But equally you can just use a heat gun. I mean, I'm used to using this thing all the time, so it doesn't take too long, and you end up with a nice strong join. Nice strong join, and the adhesive's holding it together as well. So that gets us our red to blue, black to black connector. So what we need to do now is we need to pop that in there. I'm going to put an extra couple of bits of tape on this, just because I've got a roll here, and we'll just put a couple of little bits on. As we go down, and yeah. There's nothing really for it to rub on in there, so let's have a bit there. So I'll just get that nice and neat. Right, now we tuck that one. Tuck that one down in the bottom bit there, and we'll put the other two down on the top. Now we're back into the connectors on this side. So we've got our connectors that we've got for each indicator. So we have the grey, obviously goes into the grey. That one's for our rear number plate light. So we'll tuck that one up and in. And then we've got our black, which is onto our black one there. We've got our grey, which is onto our grey one there. So that's got us all of our indicators. There's a little bit excess here that we've got now, so that's okay. So we've got that bit there, we've got that there, we'll put that one up, tuck that back. You can put a little zip tie around that or something if you wanted to. We'll pop a little zip tie around that now. that gets us all of those connections. Now, what you want to do now is we should probably give it a bit of a test just to make sure everything's working okay. Moment of truth. We should have our number plate light on. We should have our left indicator and our right indicator. So that's a good start. So next in is our light. This is where it's nice and easy to get a light. Goes back through there. Make sure our two top hats are in. The top hats, if they do pop out, the top hats go this way round, so they go back in that way. Yeah, and then we'll go onto there. And this is where you notice here where the number plate support, on the support, the extra one that we've done for the light, it sits in there and sits up snugly for the light to reduce the amount of movement. If you don't have that, the light moves all over the way, and yeah, disaster waiting to happen. So back together with this, 2 washers, 2 nuts on the back of here, washer and a nut, washer and a nut. Okay, there we go. We've got our 10mm. Doing that up. 10mm there. This cable gets tucked down in the same gap as well, so that lives round there. We connect that back up onto that one, the last remaining electrical connector. Open that back up, pop it in there, pop that down, and we're good for all of our electrical connectors. So next up is all the bodywork back together. Reverse basically of how you took it all off. Remember there's this tab on there, so don't forget that one. So that sort of goes round on the outside, sits down over the top there. There we go. Right, so now that's on there. Just don't try and force it. It will go if it feels a little bit not quite right there. It will go. So just take your time with it. Don't try and force anything on there. It'll be fine. First things to put back in those little plastic rivets. I just found that's easier putting those in first of all, so they go back out in that hole there, and just push the centre in. Ooh, that one's gone all the way through. I think is that one all the way through. Yeah, that one just needs to go into there. Goes in there. Push that in there. That's it. And then the same the other side. And the other side, so both the plastic rivets are back in. And then we can start with the fixings underneath. Same the other side. Right, so we've got that tightened, those ones. We need the side panels back on. Side panels back on, so we've got this side panel on. So that clips into this one at the front here first of all. It clips into there. And then this one goes in on either side, there and there, and then the fixings for those ones. So we've got, there's 3 fixings for there. The black one, I don't know if it makes any difference particularly, but the black one goes at the front on the same both sides. So the black one goes at the front, The two silver ones go at the rear. And same on the other side. Again, same thing. That goes into there, clips in. That one clips into there. At the top, black fencing at the front. Two silver ones at the rear. What else do we need now? Right, so we'll have these fencings for the top. These 5 fixings that go back in the top. So we've got these ones. So we've got one there.
Just reverse procedure basically of us taking it all apart.
We have the 4 fixings for the side. Bit of a boring bit, this bit. I'm not that much good at editing video either, so you probably have to sit through it. And then we're done, give them a tweak up. Okay, and we are front seat. Two bolts left in the box, which is always a good thing when you only need 2 more bolts to finish. That one. And that one, just easier than removing the one that's fitted to the seat. Almost there, people, almost there. Right, and voila, we're done. Ready to take your light, nice and sturdy. You know, we can pick this thing, push it off at a side stand. You know, you're not going to get that by changing it any other way. Everything's operational. Yeah, we're good. Enjoy.
Awesome.